Hello, my name is Marc Blatstein, the physician founder of Physician Pre-Sentence Report Service. Today, I'm going to discuss you really feel that you're innocent, that you're not guilty, that you did nothing wrong, which is how most individuals feel. But at the same time, and you want to go to trial, it's really a function of how great an attorney you have and how the facts of the case line up for you. Because nobody can guarantee you what the judge is going to do, what a jury is going to do. No one can tell you that you're going to be successful. And if it's not a surprise, there are people actually who are innocent who are in prison. And we know this because as DNA evidence has become into the mainstream within the last 10, 20 years, there are people who have been released from prison. That's not a lot, but just feeling you're guilty or that you're innocent is not enough. And so when you go to trial, probably it's most important to understand that you don't want to make an enemy of the judge. You want to be respectful because it's possible you may have to go back to the same court and judge for sentencing at a later date. Another part of this equation is that there are individuals who have attained a level financially in our country that with the thought that you can do no wrong, and that you're innocent and that everyone else is responsible. And I guess this comes with a degree. I don't know if arrogance is not the right word. Not being humbled is not the correct phrase, but ultimately what happens is that can be taken out of your control if in fact you're found guilty at trial, even though you believe and you may be not guilty of these charges. Once you enter this particular phase, you're at the mercy of the judge, the court, the probation officer who conducts your pre-sentence interview, and the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And so you can do what you want to do, but it's not wise to go into the courtroom or go into your pre-sentence interview and telling the probation officer conducting the interview and trying to explain to the judge during sentencing why you're innocent and you did nothing wrong, because all that's going to do is create a world of hurt for you on many levels. It's going to create a world of hurt for you if you do this at your pre-sentence interview, because these are just probation officers that do the interviewing on a lot of people every day, and this is their career. And so the judge in your case depends on that probation officer for a sentencing recommendation and for a placement request potentially if you're on the ball. But if you go into this interview, with the attitude that you've done nothing wrong, there's something wrong in the system. However, I could phrase this better. All the probation officer is going to come away with is that you think you're innocent, you believe that the court was wrong, you have not taken responsibility for your actions at any level, and the probation officer just may lose patience with you and pass all of this along to the judge. Then it gets into the courtroom and sentencing. And if you do the same thing all over again, the judge is going to maybe dumbstruck and let you go on as you attempt to explain that there was something wrong in the sentencing or something wrong in the trial. This was not done or that was not done. When all the judge wants to hear is why you did what you did and that you're not going to do it again, which takes into account that you're accepting responsibility for being guilty. And you could be a doctor with a large practice. You could be the CEO of a large company, but ultimately the buck stops at your desk, and you're the one who's standing in front of the judge. And if in fact this is the tact you take, the judge may give you more time, more sentence, and then you get into prison, and they have no toleration. That once you go in there, this is the only everything is done their way, period, full stop. um the the only way you can channel your emotions you can control, and the only control you have is over how you utilize those emotions. Because if you use those emotions and go into prison thinking that you have a control of something, it's not going to end up good for you. And if you don't listen to the rules and regulations, it's not good for you. You may get a lesser sentence, and if you're caught with cell phones, you can get a greater, possibly get another charge. And it's going to be a lose-lose proposition until you're out of there. And even then, when you're home on supervised release, if in fact you don't follow the rules that the probation officer while you're on supervised release, if you have that, if you don't follow their rules, that can be, another incident where possibly you're sent back to halfway house, or you're sent back to a local county jail, which is terrible, or you could be sent back to prison. This stuff doesn't happen frequently at all, but you don't want to take that off the table. And I can't promise you that nothing will happen. So I hope that you take from this what I'm trying to convey, which is, we all have, not an attitude, but, some sort of self-confidence that's very high. But these series of events through the interview, through judge's sentencing, and through the probation, and through rather prison, through the Bureau of Prisons, this could humble even the most arrogant among us. And so I plead with you to, listen to an attorney, find someone who can prepare you for the pre-sentence interview and sentencing, and let you know what the judges are expecting to hear, what's expected of you in prison, which is not fighting with every rule and thing that they want you to do, so that you can come out of this hole at the end, because prison is temporary, this event is temporary, and eventually it'll be over. And you don't want to create more harm for yourself than is absolutely necessary. I hope you found this helpful, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Have a great day and stay safe.